Hello everybody, and welcome to a slightly delayed stream. Was supposed to start like 10 minutes ago-ish, but yeah, just kind of doing something in the game that ended up taking a little bit longer than I had hoped, and I also wasn't sure if it was gonna have to like delay the stream or not, because yeah, I just had like a thunderstorm roll in, like at around, I don't know, like 7:20, 7:30, or not 5:20, 5:30-ish, and I didn't really know if I was gonna like, I don't know, delay the stream or maybe just full on cancel it. Maybe because I didn't really wanna, I don't know, do the stream during a thunderstorm in case it ended up being like a really bad thunderstorm. But it just disappeared, so that wasn't too much of a problem. Anyway, let's see. Plan for today is the following. Let's see. I should probably also turn on the audio, unmute that stuff. So, I have maxed out the dwarves, which I actually did, I think, just after 5 o'clock, because that was when it reset all the things. So we can basically get the dwarves up to rank 7 in terms of rep. That's nice. And once we've done that, I'm mainly thinking of dealing with a lot of quests that I want to do, because all of those quests are going to unlock basically triple triad opponents, but they all require quests that I need to do, so that's a little bit annoying. Some of them only have like 1 or 2 quests I need to do, and then there's a guy called Dominic, something like that, in with this Western Highlands. That's a like 10-15 quests that I need to do, which is a pain in the ass. He has like 1 card that he has exclusively, which is kind of annoying. And he also has like a card that I can just get from a dungeon, which I think I've already gotten. I think you're wrong. But yeah. Those are the like 2 big things, I guess, we're doing today. I do have another thing that I'm probably gonna do as well. That's gonna be... how long is that whole thing gonna take? Around 25 minutes. It's basically some videos that I want to watch on stream. It's technically only one of them that I really want to watch on stream, because I've seen the others, but I'm thinking might as well watch all 4 of them. We'll get to those a bit later, I'm thinking. But first, I got a house. I managed to get a house in the game here Sunday, and my god, I was like fucking lucky with that. Basically, Sunday I went around and looked at all the houses that were available that I could also buy. Basically made an entire thing, and probably possibly pull it up so you can see it. Or not. I guess I didn't save that. Oh well. Basically, I had basically made a giant like Google Sheets thing where I basically went around to every single housing district and basically checked like in every ward and sub division of each ward, and basically was like, okay, this house I have enough money for. Go over, write down, like check if the house was actually on for sale, because some of them are not on sale, but they're still listed as being on sale. I don't know why. It's how the game handles some of that stuff. Then basically wrote down which housing district it was. So for example, the Goblet, the ward, the plot number, and then the amount of people that had bought a ticket at the time because of the old lottery system that they have in the game now. And I found like 5 or 6 houses in the Goblet that had only like 4 people that bought tickets. Then it ended up being 5 on all of them. So I ended up trying to buy this one, or bought a ticket with this one, like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes before the deadline. And then it ended up going up to 7 tickets, and I ended up winning it. Haven't done a whole lot with the house yet. I put my kettle and monster hunter thing there, ended up buying a large garden, haven't put anything there. Placed a netherite so I can teleport to my house. I don't know, changed the name and like greeting. Haven't done a whole lot. And yeah, you can see here that it's in Sport 23, Plot 31, in the Goblet, on Zodiac. No longer living in a cardboard box. I mean, technically I did actually have a, I guess technically apartment from my free company that I'm part of. They basically have this house, or at least this location in like the Mist. I don't remember exactly what like ward or it is in. We have this one, and I basically just have a like small, I don't know, room there. But yeah, I've put a few things in here, but I haven't really done a whole lot yet. But yeah, pretty nice to finally have a house, because now I can actually do the things with housing. And I do have an idea already for what I want to do with this. I'm kind of thinking of maybe making a... just trying to make, because I don't really know too much. You can customize it. Yep, it is fully customizable, and there's a lot of stuff. Basically, oh yeah, that's the wrong one. Preview. You can basically see here that there's a lot of different things. Like, if I want chairs, I can even, this is just like, or I can preview them, but I can be like, okay, what does this look like? Okay. This, banner sofa, maybe. Like, you can customize this a lot. And like, some of these things get pretty ridiculous. Some of these things you can get. For example, I have this one in my free company's place. There's a lot of stuff. On like crafting stations that actually give bonuses to players, or to players if they have until they are at a certain like level with their crafters. Full on like carnival sort of games, because that's from something called the Gold Saucer. Equestrian rolls, or Equestrians, which basically just play music that you can enable. There's so much stuff here. Can you... what is this even? There's just a lot of things you can get. the plan that I basically have for now is slowly work on basically making this a sort of... You'll never come to this game now. I mean, you don't need a house in the game, I just really wanted one because... Well, first of all, it's kind of a status symbol because it is very, very difficult to sometimes get a house. It has been made a little bit easier due to the fact that previously, before a certain patch, it came out like April, I think, or something like that. It was basically like first person or first come first serve sort of thing with the houses. And at the same time, not really. It was basically something where after a house became available for purchase, it would not be available actually for purchase. It was basically like, it was shown as being available for purchase, but it wasn't actually available to be bought yet. Because within like a 24-hour period or something along those lines, I don't exactly know the precise thing with it, it would basically become available, and the first person who then bought it after it became available would basically get the house. The problem was just that a lot of people basically used bots to just try and buy the houses, and would then sometimes try and sell them or something off to other people. I don't know really how that worked. But yeah, they basically changed it over to just a lottery system, which works better, but it's still not a that good solution because there's still not enough houses for people. Listen, you can use hours, sign your space pod in Warframe. It's just, yeah, like, thankfully it is somewhat limited, this whole thing. Yeah, my plan for this place is basically sort of a, I don't know, cafe of sorts, like upper part here, like sort of cafe area over here with like desk and some, I don't know, I think I had it stored in here, things like a pastry cupboard thing, things like that sitting up here, maybe like 2 chairs and tables over here, and then down below have like, I don't know, bookshelves and some seating and such. It's kind of a, I don't know, small cafe, library thing. I don't really know what else to call it, but that's kind of the plan that I have for now. And then I also just need to like figure out what to do outside, but it's gonna be a longer process to basically do this. But like when it comes to some people's houses, they go all out with some of this. Actually, not sure what this is. This is a medium house that this person has, and you can kind of see that they went all out on their like garden area. I'm sure is there. I was surprised the benches in this area is actually owned by players and not three companies. Still sunflowers, plant potatoes, continue your legacy. Yeah, unfortunately I can't really mess with other people's houses. Unless I, of course, had certain privileges, like there is some settings where you can like share an estate, where you can basically do that with 3 people, and those people can basically just, depending on what I as the owner set as settings, they can either decorate stuff, or they can mess around with the garden that I placed. They can maybe stable their chocobos, which is their mounts. They can mess around with the orchestrion that I place, and mess around with the message book. But yeah, I've basically just put 2 of my IRL friends on there, even though they don't really play that often. Though I think one of my friends, basically Chun Chun, in the chat sometimes appears, is apparently going on vacation from his job here. I think it was maybe this week, or maybe it's like next week or something. I don't fully remember, but he was apparently supposed to go on vacation very soon. At which point he's basically gonna be trying to just hurry through the main story for Shadowbringers. Yeah, maybe he'll end up visiting. I don't know yet. Anyway, I need to go to Leatherworker and head over to Lakeland so we can deal with the dwarf quest. We'll start the grinder. Yeah, he is like not that far in the main story quest in Shadowbringers, which is the latest expansion that I've completed. That's also because he has a job where he gets home somewhat late, and then he doesn't have a lot of time to play, so he just doesn't get a whole lot of playing done, whereas I just don't really have anything else going on, so I just end up playing a lot. Okay, so let's see here. Chief concerns. There once was a dwarf named Ronnet, a boy with a bee in his bonnet. Had agreed to a bet he would come to regret, unless of course he actually won it. Okay.
I've got some bad news and some more bad news. Which do you want first? Alright, I'll pick. For starters, I hear the chief's been spending more and more time checking his beard in the mirror. That can only mean one thing, it's almost beard time. What are we gonna do? At this rate, we'll never make it. As for the other bit of bad news, some of the workers have turned tail and ran back to the village before they get in any more trouble. Now, there ain't enough people to handle production or bring in raw materials. Regit, Karut, and the others are already at their breaking point. I even thought about asking Ozog for help, but I can't bloody find her. Think, Ronnet, think. There must be a way. Maybe a nice, relaxing stroll will clear my head. Yeah, a quick trip to scenic Damp Soul should sort me right out. And whatever you do, don't follow me. Even if you think I might get eaten by hungry beasties, don't follow me. Yes, definitely don't do that.
We're gonna follow him.
Ronnet definitely does not want you to follow him to Damp Soul.
We're gonna follow him. So that's Damp Soul. For some reason I thought that was gonna be like the place up here with the, I don't know, hot spring, I think, kind of thing. But guess not. Looked like Ronnet was out on the pier. Yep.
Haha. I see you understood my subtle hints. You see, I wanted a word with you, away from the others. It's a bit of a touchy subject, and I don't want em getting discouraged or nothing. You're good at keeping secrets, ain't you? Phew. Alright. Truth is, I'm finding it all a bit much. The pressure, the responsibility. I've always been a loner, and nothing I ever did made a lot of difference to anyone else. Whereas it seems to me, you're the opposite. By the sounds of it, people are always turning to you for help. Don't you ever worry you'll make some sort of horrible mistake and, I don't know, cause the end of the world or something? What's your secret?
Just relax and let your talent do the work. I get by with a little help from my friends. Pretty sure it's just another word for fear. By with a little help from my friends. Let's go with that one.
You're right. I didn't get this far without my friends, and I'm gonna need 'em in the days to come. What's Sandville ain't just a place, it's the people who make it what it is. Thanks, I feel a lot better now. And with the great What's blood flowing in my veins, there ain't nothing I can't overcome. Course, I've got What's hammer as well, thanks to you finding it for me.
Is that person spotted a black mage? Nope, he is just a dwarf. That is basically a race on... Oh god, how do I explain this? Basically, we are on what is known as the First, which is specifically a place called, and specifically on an area called Northrend, which is not the same world as the one we are originally from, which is called the Source. And basically on Northrend, or the First, there's some slightly different races, including dwarves.
Not that I ever use it, mind you. I'm keeping it safely hidden away until the day comes that I'm skilled enough to wield it myself. This thing, just a normal, everyday hammer, mate. Nothing special, but gets the job done. Point is, it gives me something to look forward to, a reason not to give up. Can't go disappointing my illustrious ancestor now, can I? Still, honing my own skills is all well and good, but if I really want to go down in the history books, I've gotta think big, think beyond what I'm capable of doing on my own. And with friends like you, how can I go wrong? Right, I'd better get back to the workshop before I run out of steam again. I've found my motivation, now all I need is a plan. I wonder what What's would do at a time like this. A shame his expertise was in automata and not tanks. Now all I need is a plan. Automata. The Megasonic Frog Boy. And Regit and Karut? I thought you two was working. We just fancied a spot of eavesdropping. Hope you don't mind. Yes, we heard everything. I wish you'd said something sooner. You don't have to bear the burden on your own, you know. Let us share the load. Share the load. Hat. Alright, but don't say I didn't warn you. Wait, what was it the frog boy said just now? I know it's only copying what we say, but I feel like it was hinting at something. Now all I need is a plan. Automata, that's it? What is? I see. Actually, we thought Ozog might be here, too, but she's nowhere to be seen. Gog or not, we'll need all the pairs of hands we can get. Perhaps she's made her way back to the workshop by now, and we should probably do likewise.
So, previous world goes boom, move to next, and here we are. Not quite. Basically how the worlds work in Final Fantasy is there was basically an original world which was where the some beings called Asians were technically, I guess, our enemies due to their goal, I guess. They basically ended up having a big disaster that was happening. And they basically ended up summoning a creature known as Zodiac. Oh yeah, Zodiac. Zodiac is basically a primal, I guess you can call it, which is basically a bunch of... essentially just like a creature that's... just change class. A creature made out of ether, which is a... I don't know, energy basically in Final Fantasy, or at least in Final Fantasy 14. It's basically made out of aether and prayers, essentially. And Zodiac was basically extremely powerful due to the Asians, or whatever they were called before. Basically just being extremely powerful. They basically had the ability to just be like, oh, I have an idea for something that I want to create, and then they could just create it out of thin air, essentially. However, there was some people that didn't really like, or some of their people that didn't like the fact that they had summoned Zodiac. So they ended up going behind their back and summoning another one called Heidelin. Those two basically had a fight, and Heidelin basically ended up smashing or destroying Zodiac so hard that it ended up splitting the original world into 13. I think it's 13. Like reflections is what they're calling it. Essentially, just like alternate worlds, I guess. And then there's the basically the original one that we live on, which is then called the Source, which is technically the original one, but kind of a not complete version of it. And then there's basically, you can essentially see the 13 collections as sort of alternate worlds, with the first that we're on being one of them. It's kind of confusing, this whole thing. They could explain it better in the game, I feel like. But basically, each world is on its own, but it's still connected to the source. So our world. So depending on what happens on that world, that could affect stuff on our world. So for example, on the first, there was basically a big thing called the Flood that happened, which was due to the fact that all darkness was basically removed from the world. It was defeated, which basically tipped sort of a balance between light and dark, so that there was way too much light, which basically ended up causing like 90% of the planet to basically be a barren wasteland, which we kind of tried fixing during the raids that I did with Ryoko here this weekend. And yeah, we basically ended up getting pulled here to the first by a guy called the Crystal Exarch through summoning, and due to him not being fully versed in summoning and it not being exactly easy, he ended up summoning most of our friends here as well, but not in a complete way. Yeah, it's got kind of confusing. To ask, sure, I played the other fantasy, or just this one. This is the only Final Fantasy game that I've ever played. I do know some details from other Final Fantasy games, but this is the only one that I've actually played properly. I have played... I don't know if it technically counts as a Final Fantasy game, because it's technically not one, but I have played a game called Bravely Default, which I think might have been made by the same people. I think. I could be wrong. I'm kind of curious, is that... Is Bravely Default made by Enix? Ah, yeah, it is. Might not have been made by the same studio, but it's kind of similar, I would say. Ah, yeah, it is actually a sort of sequel to Final Fantasy, the Four Heroes of Light, apparently. It's kind of similar, but not really. Yeah, I played that game not to the end fully, because that game had a really weird ending sequence where it's like... Bravely Default's end was kind of weird. It was like, oh yeah, if you want to get the actual true ending, you need to do the end sequence, or like essentially play through the game like 14 times or something like that, where I think the first like 3 or 4 times the game like changes things, because you basically end up in a time loop of sorts. But then the last like 6 or 7 times you basically do the loop, nothing changes. Nothing. The enemies stay the same level, I believe. Like there might be like very minor changes, but it just ended up getting on my nerves, so I just ended up dropping the game. And to be honest, it also ended up at some point you could just farm XP and money extremely easy. This is just being able to like, it was not basically just a whole mechanic in the game where you would basically do special actions called either Brave or Default, where if you basically did Default, you would basically not do anything that turn, and you would basically get an additional turn saved for your character, or for that specific character, so that you could basically do, for example, 2 turns later on. But you could also do something called Brave or Bravely, I don't remember exactly what it was called, which basically allowed you to say, I'm gonna take an extra turn, which you could do basically so that you could take 4 turns in 1 turn. But if you didn't have enough turns stored up, it would basically then be in a like negative turns. So you would basically have to wait several turns before you could actually do anything. And the game basically allowed you to sort of program like auto combat in a way. So you could basically, with certain characters, like set up in a specific way, you could basically just make it so that they just went in, did Bravely like all 4 times, or to the max amount, and just destroyed all the enemies in a specific area, and you could just get a shit ton of XP on, for example, like all the other characters. Yeah.
Thanks to the Frog Boy, the way forward seems clear. Come on, I'll show you what I have in mind. I'm gonna use the space to build something that'll speed up production, but I can't do it all on my own. That reminds me, I thought Ozog was supposed to be around here somewhere.
Did you miss me?
Oh. our friends.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I took the liberty of inviting a few friends of yours. I knew it was only a matter of time before you needed my help. My skills don't come cheap, you know. Psylocke and I may not be engineers, but we're also not averse to a bit of hard work.
Yes, just point out what needs doing and leave the rest to us. Really, considering all you've done for us, Master Ronit, it would be our pleasure to assist you.
Is that a JoJo reference? I don't know if they would put a JoJo reference in this questline. I think that would probably be more likely in either a quest title or maybe in the Hildebrand questline. Due to the fact that that questline is kind of seen as the joke questline.
You traveled all this way just to help me. Well, not you, Lorithia, you only live round the corner, but I'm grateful all the same. I'm so happy, Alright. There's plenty of work to be done and not much time to do it. As for you, Shauna, just because all these people have shown up doesn't mean you're off the hook.
So we need to craft something specific.
Time to put my plan into action. By using a load of existing automaton parts, I'll be able to upgrade the workshop and build the rest of tanks, even with just this small number of us.
Speak with Ronit. Gusto.
Still, there are a few things that need to be made from scratch, and I've got a whole crate's worth of parts I want you to make. Anything less than perfection and it might blow up in our faces, so bring me your finest work, alright? The Fetchomatic Mechatoad will dish out whatever materials you might need. I'm counting on you, Shauna.
Okay, materials.
Request.
And let's see, it should be at the top. Automata, worker supplies. It's behind quality. There we go.
Where is it? Let me see.
Okay, do automata dream of electric frogs? Those made from the contents of this crate? Certainly will not, as their every thought will be devoted only to the production of tank after tank, never to so much as rest, let alone dream.
Great work, as always. I'd better put this to use right away. There's not a moment to spare.
Yes, now we have a factory of sorts, I guess.
With the day of reckoning looming ever closer, Ronit has decided that it would be quicker to construct an entire factory, complete with automaton workers, than build 4 tanks identical to the one he has already completed, but Ronit's mind moves in mysterious ways. For what Ronit lacks in effective time management he more than makes up for with sheer stubbornness in the face of overwhelming odds. Perhaps this is what has earned him the respect and loyalty of his ragtag collection of friends.
Okay. And yet, in spite of Ronit's efforts, then the fatal they arrived. I wasn't able to read all of that because that text moves too fast sometimes.
The chief will be here any moment, and I still have one more tank to finish.
Shauna, I have an idea. Come with me. We'll try to buy you some time. You get that last tank completed, no matter what it takes.
So we need to go and speak with the Ozark. It's down here. She might be trying to so that the cheat doesn't get
Phew.
in time.
I'm not used to all this running about. Here, take this. It's Nitro Brew, an alcoholic beverage that doubles as pain stripper, and it's strong enough to knock out a bison. If we leave these kegs in the road, Zaymot is bound to help himself to a few swigs. Don't give me that look. You clearly don't know how a dwarf's mind works. Look, there isn't much time, and this is the best I could come up with. Just put them over there and let dwarven nature take its course.
Okay, put in 3 locations. Is highly flammable and caustic. Alcohol has, or was originally used as an explosive for cleaning tunnels until one rather careless dwarf divided. Some by accident. After seeing him become horrendously drunk in a matter of moments, his friends simulated the feat, and before long it was being produced in mass. In massive quantities, specifically for drinking purposes. Of course, but I'm not surprised by that. When it comes to dwarves, like in any fantasy setting, it's just like, oh, powerful alcohol. Yeah, they like that. My God, that is some tiny ass eggs.
That should do it. And now, we wait. What? He's already here. And why is Chief Glog with him? But more importantly, did the Nitro Brew do its job?
Oh yeah, it did.
It must be my lucky day. And besides, be ashamed to let all that grog go to waste. For once, I agree with you. You old schwein.
Oh my God.
Herb. Ah, shut up, Hobbs bollock shear. What, did you, Shay?
They're just blackout drunk.
Come on, run it. They won't stay like this forever.
What happened? Was I asleep? My head feels like it's been stepped on by a Talos. Booze must have been involved. Aren't there supposed to be tanks around here somewhere?
Gah. Too little, too late.
Yes, I notice a distinct lack of tanks. I declare this contest well and truly. Not so fast.
And there are the tanks.
The hills are alive with the sound of tanks.
Wrong it.
What? The bloody hells. The Roland tank guards, at your service. What's wrong with you two? Aren't you gonna congratulate me on my hard-earned victory?
No, we're bloody well not. Have you any idea what you've put us through?
Did I say my hard-earned victory? Of course, what I meant to say was our hard-earned victory. Yes, yes. A slip of the tongue, that's all. Is that any better? Well, Ronit. You did it, fair and square. No underhanded, dirty tricks. At least none that I'm aware of. Ozog. Though I have yet to decide your punishment for consorting with Tholes, I will say this, you have demonstrated the superiority of GOG engineering, without which, those tanks would never have seen the light of day.
Listen, Chief. I didn't do this because I'm a GOG, I did this because I'm a member of Watts Zanville, so stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
All this talk of Thole and GOG has reminded me of something important. We don't often talk about this, but when I were a lad, my chief once told me that Thole and GOG were once part of a single tribe. And into that one tribe was born a boy. His name was Watts. He was blessed with curiosity and imagination in abundance, and grew up to become the greatest inventor our kind has ever known. But sadly, the automata that he created caused a rift in our people. Some wanted to use them as workers, while others saw them as tools of war. And we all know how that ended. The limp-bearded Tholes, content to dig their holes and till their soil, and the mighty Gogs crushing their enemies and sowing the fields with their blood. Glory to Kamra. A pox on Kamra. A pox? Is that the worst you Tholes can muster? Stop squabbling, the pair of you. I want to hear the rest of the story. Yes, as I was saying. Watts was beside himself to think that his beloved inventions could lead to so much strife. He locked away the rest of his designs, so that they could never bring harm to his fellow dwarves. And those designs included the tank. It all makes sense now. No wonder he didn't want no one find an M. But if I hadn't opened that safe, somebody else would have eventually. How did you open it, anyway? It was locked tight? Well, it was a long time ago, so I ain't quite sure, but I remember I used a coin. One given to me by a GOG, I think.
That coin. It's the one I gave you.
You mean you're that GOG girl, from all those years ago? Maybe this is how What's planned it all along. His descendants, working side by side. It weren't the technology what were at fault. It was us dwarves and our big Aaron what caused us to live apart as Thol and Gog. But now, one of What's ideas might build a bridge between us. Oh, shut up, you daft sod. You think this is all it takes to wash away generations of bad blood? Pa. But on the other hand, we Gogs admire What's just as much as you Thols. If you're right, which would be a first, it's worth some thought. Trouble is, it all seems a little too convenient. The coin, the chance reunion, all the other coincidences, and there are probably a load more I don't even know about. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You see, all the coincidences in the world won't do you no good if you ain't got the gumption to make the most of them. Something Ronit and Ozog have in spades. Right, that's enough blathering out of me. I'm off for a pint at the Crystarium on my way home. And if you two think this is the end, think again. 5 tanks is just the start. It'll take more than that to solve the world's troubles. Alright, I hear you. Now, bugger off and let us get on with it. That's funny. I thought those two were enemies. Probably got more in common than they realize. Anyway, it's time we got back to the anvil.
Wait, where did the tanks go? Okay, let's go ahead and complete the quest and see what we... Assuming we're gonna get some more stuff, vendor cells possibly even about. But I'm not entirely sure.
So you and Ozog bought me some time, did you? Should have bought a bit more by the sounds of it. Heh, just joking. If it weren't for you two, I'd never have made it. I suppose that's what What's Anvil is all about, you lot working your arses off to make me look good. Something like that, anyway. But it's like the chief said, a measly 5 tanks ain't gonna right the world's wrongs. So, I reckon, 500 ought to do it. We'd better get back to work, and no slackin'. You have achieved sworn reputation with What's Anvil. You will receive an experience point bonus upon complete. Furthermore, you now have access to a wider selection of wares from Mizud.
Okay, let's get the achievement period signs. So, tank technician. And yep, access to the mount now. Rolling tankard key. So now I have access to this mount at any time. Hell yeah. And there's this little effect. I love how silly this thing looks. It's just a tiny ass tank that you're just running around in. Of course, the laser you can fire. Okay. Let's see. I need to figure out what to do next. So, let's see here. I am thinking that we can head over to the Western Highlands And get started on unlocking WX triple trad stuff. I just need to figure out what the first quest in this line is called. Okay, so I think I see. I need to. First of all, I need to have done another quest that is actually in here, Ishgard. I basically need to have done at some point a quest called Enlisted, which is located in the pillars. I don't exactly know where in the pillars, but just have to look at the map then. Alright, let's see here. Okay, there it is. Enlisted.
Oh, woe is me. My dear brother has disappeared. He left the house without so much as a word, and never returned. I'm ever so worried. I know not what to do. I've searched high and low, but there is simply no sign of him. He must have left the Holy See altogether, but he has no friends outside the city. The only person he knows is Redwald at Falcon's Nest. Please, if you happen to see Redwald, ask him if he knows what's become of my brother. I'm ever so worried. Please tell him how worried I am. I'd make the journey myself, but I know I wouldn't last a minute out there in the wild.
What's Falcon's Nest?
Oh, her brother? Yes, he's here in Coerthus. I last saw him at the Convictory. He was in an utterly foul mood. The lad is of noble blood. But, with two older brothers, he is hardly first in line for the inheritance. He came out here to secure his own future by earning fame and glory slaying dragons.
Okay. So head up and speak with Noble woman's brother in or at the conviction, which is where we need to go anyway. For the quest, it's the secret to success. Yep, that is the first quest in this line of quest that I need to do.
This place shall be the death of me. Whatever made me think I could survive out here? It's utterly freezing. And I have to stoke the campfire myself? What poor joke is that? Where are the servants? Yes, she's my sister. Why do you ask? She's worried about me? I think she just misses having me around to boss about. Like hells I'm going back there. I full well intend to stay here and make a name for myself as a renowned dragon slayer. Then we'll see who bosses who around.
Okay, then we got Yak, the success, or the secret to success. Yeah, secret to success. Though I'm kind of thinking of maybe we can do that thing that I was kind of mentioning earlier. I basically have some videos that I kind of want to watch. One video, but I'm thinking we can watch all 4 videos. I just need to set this up correctly. Okay, so first of all, while we're watching this, I'm just gonna do the game. No reason to have that thing in the background, and to this show. Oh, and then I just need to adjust this a bit. How best to do this? Drop it a bit like this. Put it there. Up. Yeah, that kind of works. Alright, so basically what I'm thinking is we'll watch the Rap Guide to Final Fantasy by JoeCat, because he put out his latest video like 2 days ago-ish. Basically the so-called A Crap Guide to Final Fantasy Melee DPS. So far he's done tank, healer, and DPS in general, although it's technically like not the role, but like how to do DPS, because everyone in the game needs to do that. But yeah, I think we'll basically watch that. As I said, it's 4 videos. One that's 3 minutes and 47 minutes. One that's 4 minutes and 30 seconds. One that's 6 minutes and 34 seconds, and then one that's 10 minutes and 33 seconds. It's the newest one. I've personally watched the first 3 of them. But I have not seen the newest one, because I was like, this is a new one. I haven't really watched any video or reacted to any videos on stream before, so might as well just do it in this case. Let's see, I don't really know if I've, like, the audio is, how good the audio is for this. So like how I've set it up, but hopefully it's not too bad. I can probably like lower it a little bit, I'm thinking. Yeah, I should also mention, he talks fast. And, oh yeah, also, disclaimer, this is like in front of all of his videos where he plays the character of Joe Crap. Basically, if it's a video where he has his Monster Hunter Wiggler head, or whatever you want to call it, then it's Joe Crap talking, which is more of a joke character that he has. But yeah, disclaimer. This is meant as a joke and not and is not at all a super serious in-depth guide to Final Fantasy XIV. Any jabs I throw at anyone's way of playing the game are merely for a comedic purpose only, especially when it comes to people's skill and performance and playing their role. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes or not playing 100% efficiently. Everybody does it. Nobody's perfect, except for me. Enjoy. I think the last part is just like for fun, but yeah. Watch this.
What up, warriors of fartness? I bet you don't have the slightest clue how to play this eyeball-melting anime game. Oh, sure, you probably know that you can beat up enemies by clicking on them until they die, but do you know how to find a static in your FC to help you prog uwu? I bet you don't even know what any of those words mean, so sit down, shut up, and eat your gizzle greens, because I'm gonna teach you what thee mayhap not knoweth, thy noobliness. Welcome to A Crap Guide to Final Fantasy.
Okay, so I'll just mention, I watched this video before I even played Final Fantasy, because this came out like in April 29th, 2021. That was like several months before I started playing the game. I just watched this video because, oh yeah, it's a Joecat video. I like Joecat's videos. I didn't know anything about the game. So when he said the whole like, do you know how to find your static in your FC to proc ooh, I was like, I have no idea what any of that means. Now I do. But yeah, the videos are to an extent informative. We'll say his DPS 1 third video is pretty informative. But yeah.
The tank is the person in the front lines of every group, leading the charge to inevitable party wipes, which is because you are the most important person in the party, having slap fights with the boss since everybody else is way too squishy to handle the puss-pounding patty cake. You'll never see Jimmy's soft boots eyeing up the cloud of darkness with his 2x4 and scriggly tree branch. But how hard can tanking be? Turn on your tank stance, do your 1-2-3 combo, and blame the healers when you die, right? That sounds like somebody who needs their short Q privileges revoked. Firstly, tank stance. You turn this on to start gaining enmity. What's enmity? It's where you shout at the bad guys, "Hey, hit me!" They'll be paying attention to you so long as you're dealing damage, so you better be dealing damage and not just having a staring contest. If you don't, then they're gonna start indiscriminately charging at the rest of the party like a dog in a movie theater. If you are the designated main tank, or in light parties the only tank, make sure this is on. If there is another tank in the party and you are the off tank, make sure this is off, unless there's some other bad guys you gotta pull. If you have conflicting stances with the other tank, they will chuck their shoulder pads at you. As a tank, you should make sure the bad guy's ass is facing the party as often as possible, as indicated by the bright glowing half-eaten donut underneath the target. This is so that if the bad guy sneezes, you're the only one getting down with the sickness. And also, if your party has anyone playing any jobs that particularly likes to clap them cheeks, you've provided a bright shiny spanking space. On top of this, as a tank, you are, by Heidelin's blessings, horrible at dancing, which is why you should move as little as possible once you've got the enemy's attention. That way the party can continue to whap the wumpus without having to chase down the bad guy's glorious booty. Just as well, because you have control of where the baddies are, you control how useful everybody else is. So if somebody puts down a useful AoE, stop fucking running away from it! Now that you have the baddie's attention and are in a nice cozy poking position, you don't have to worry about anything else, right? Ah, that's what I thought you'd say, you dumb fucking horse! Believe it or not, when you die, it's not entirely the healer's fault, just mostly their fault. That little bit of responsibility you have is based on how well you can juggle mitigation. What's mitigation? It's the buttons that make the bad guy's slaps hurt less that you sometimes press once a subscription and never think about again. You ever wonder why you have several of those buttons that all seem like they do the same thing? Well, that's because you're supposed to space them out over the course of a fight so the healers don't have to sacrifice their entire mana pool and firstborn child to get your frail ass through the dungeon. Remember not to bust your tanking load all at once, or else you're gonna feel a lot of shame when you're all out of juice and the boss still wants to go about 4 more rounds. Every tank also has a press X to not die button that can be used to survive any devastating attacks, or if you're a really aggressive paladin who drew every enemy in a dungeon ever and don't want the healer to hire a hitman on you. As for what your limit break does, tanks are thicker than the average Disney mom, to the point your honky chonky donkey bahonky extends to the rest of the party, protecting them from damage up to a whopping 80% at LB3. The thing is, unless you're a high-end player, you'll probably be using tank LB as frequently as a good player rolls high on loot. Overall, you have 4 flavors to choose from: punk, grunge, metal, and Christian rock. There's warrior for big axes, big anger, big self-healing, and if you like to do fell cleaves again and again and again and again. If you prefer more brooding than crude,
Fucking fell cleave.
the Dark Knight is great for doing your best guts impression. You get a huge ass sword, goopy black energy particle effects, and the literal best mitigation in the entire game, but it's balanced because they get the worst invulnerability button in the entire game. You press it and then it makes you die. Gunbreaker is called a tank, but everybody knows it's just 3 DPS in a trench coat, as designated by the fact you get a fucking gun and your swings explode. But you have to be a hardcore gamer since it requires a lot of cartridges. And finally the Paladin, who tries to pretend they're a healer and caster, but only when the other healers and casters are looking. But fuck all that, because the most important thing is that you get the motherfucking sword and shield, baby! Try getting behind this wall of holiness, bitch! Now you know how to play tank, you're welcome.
Alright, so that was the tank video. Basically, like, you might have noticed in the beginning, he actually says a lot of really, like, good information, like, hey, tank stance, make sure you have that on. Like, don't move around too much. Don't have conflicting stances with if you're in bigger parties. Make sure the ass is facing the group as much as possible. You can't do that all the time. It kind of depends on, like, if the rest of the party doesn't, like, move out of the way, you had to move or something. Like, if you had to reposition and they don't, and you can't, like, reposition in a different way, and they don't move, you can't really do too much, I feel like. So I just love the this part.
And also, if your party has anyone playing any jobs that particularly likes to clap them cheeks, you've provided a bright
Just a fucking animation of just like the Dracoon just slapping the ass. Anyway, healer.
I love power, and I love feeling powerful. It strokes my biggly wiggly and forces lesser beings to bow down to my awesome might lest they taste my boot between their gums. Nothing has ever given me the same rush of adrenaline than knowing that everybody has to submit to my whims for their own safety. It makes my brain do the goody-good chemicals and allows me to feel as though I have control over this truly unfortunate reality that the universe is slowly careening into an eventual heat death, and there's nothing anybody can do about it as we are inconsequential specks in this cruel and
I finally know where that is from. That's from the Eden raid, because that was where we experienced it. I was kind of like I've seen this video before, and I knew that this was like a sequence in the game. I had no idea where it was from until I saw it in the raid. I was like, oh, now I know where it's from.
caring universe. But none of that matters, because look at this. I can pull my party members into a pit that kills them. I find that hilarious. Welcome to a crap guide to Final Fantasy.
I also love the Final Fantasy Kazoo theme.
The greatest power of all is the power to have control over people's lives, which is why the healer is the most likely party member to have a god complex, right behind main tanks, mentors, and anybody who's an omnicrafter. You are the most important person in the party, as you, along with the tank, are responsible for keeping the party alive by kissing their boo-boos and slapping the bitch who made the boo-boo. That's right, along with the tank are responsible.
I love it. Like, kind of like with the Dracoon slapping Hamid's ass in the first one. I love the like slap from the healer.
Keeping the party alive by kissing their boo-boos and slapping the bitch who made the boo-boo.
Oh my god, just noticed here. The Black Mage has just a bunch of like vulnerability stacks. God.
That's right, as a healer, you do have to deal damage as well. Man, but it's called a healer, and healers are supposed to heal, right? Wrong! A healer's job is not necessarily to heal the party, but rather to keep them alive. And yes, there's a difference. There's gonna be a lot of downtime between heals, and you bet your afflatus rumpus that you're making the fight take longer than it has to if you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting for your next chance to cast Cure.
This also, I feel like it should have maybe mentioned like, hey, don't use Cure 1, it's fucking bad.
What do you do when the party's full health? What do you do when the party's full health? Or even halfway up and standing? DPS the bad guys. No, I don't pay your sub. But when the fight takes too long, it starts to rub all up on everybody's nerves. And when you hit endgame, it serves you right when the boss will wipe the party cause you couldn't beat Enrage. Sure, you're for the most part keeping the party alive with a variety of healing utility spells, some regen, some shields, but an equal amount of time you're casting those, you're also throwing in some extra DPS when time allows. Remember, DPSing is just mitigating future damage. And if you're able to kill the current wave of dungeon mobs before they deplete the tank's HP, which by the way is going to regen to full by the time you reach the next mob pull anyway, what does it matter how low their HP gets? So yes, DPS when time allows. When does time allow? Well, I know you're scared of independence and thinking by yourself, but that's going to be a balancing act you'll have to figure out. However, my rule of thumb is the minimum amount of HP a party member has to be at is 1. But if that's too scary-wary for your whittle fingies, ask yourself, will the enemy's next attack make your party member fall on their ass? If yes, heal so that it doesn't. If no, time to become a glare mage, motherfucker. As long as they're alive and you're clearing the content, you're doing your job right. There is one caveat to doing your job right, and that's fucker. As long as they're alive and you're clearing the content, you're doing your job right.
There's a little message there. Yep, this does not necessarily apply to making first-time progress on new content or high-end difficulty bosses, such as extreme trials, savage raids, and ultimates, because ideally you would like to be at a comfortable amount of HP. You have room to make mistakes when everybody's still figuring out mechanics and people will be dying outside your control anyway. But even so, for the most part, the DPS when everyone's healthy, or fairly healthy, heal only when you have to. Rule is still a good philosophy to follow, as not getting hit by avoidable mechanics is everybody's job, not the healer's fault for if the DPS get hit and killed by said avoidable mechanics. True.
There is one caveat to doing your job right, and that's that everybody will hate you for it. Literally, by healing you start to generate a lot of aggro from the bad guys, so if you ever decide to heal before mob pulls in dungeons, it's important to stick close to the tank like an ERPer sticks to Vieira's wearing 2B thigh highs. Especially if you throw on a regen and suddenly 800 mobs crash through the wall with a How to Fry Fairies cookbook. You can still do it, but you should know what you're getting into, like live streaming and hoping that anybody will watch. As for your...
That one still hurts.
Limit break, we heard you like healing, so we put more healing in your healing so you can heal while you heal. Unfortunately, you won't be using any limit break aside from LB3 because LB1 and 2 just heal the party, and you already have plenty of band-aids and popsicles to do that on your own. LB3, however, is so potent in healing it resurrects everybody in the party back from the dead instantaneously. But they will have to do the thriller afterwards, so it's best to be safe for when you at least have enough people to make a backup dancing crew. For the flavors of healer, we have 3 boomers and the new kid on the block who bought a Glock and has a TikTok. The white mage is the most straightforward. You heal when a buddy is hurt and you attack when they're not. Just about everything in your arsenal is all about feeding them so much it'll make an inflation artist blush in embarrassment. You're also equipped with the best AoE skill in the entire game and the ability to never run out of mana unless you're really, really bad. Best of all, when your buddies get hurt, you can heal them to harness their blood for the blood lily. But let's say you want to play white mage, but you like tarot readings and star signs like a suburban woman in her mid to late 20s. Astrologian is probably for you. You draw cards that will enhance the abilities of your party members and you fill the arena with enough space dust and constellations that you'll need 5 layers of sunglasses to see. Taking this job will also teach you how to build a bomb. Don't worry, it's friendly. Scholar is a weirdo who used to hang out with all the bad DPS kids, but decided to turn their life around when they met a nice girl who supports them in their new hobby. Only problem is she knows nothing about your hobby and you have to keep correcting her on fandom trivia. They're all about putting shields and defensive buffs that protect the party from taking damage in the first place. That way they can guess what? DPS even more. Also, your girlfriend can get thick. And finally, the new kid on the block, the Sage. A scholar who decided to stop being nice and pick up a gun that shoots lasers! Like Scholar, they also put shields and protective buffs on their party members so they can spend more time shooting lasers! How do they do this? After seeing Alphino change to the job, my guess is the Nullists are liquefied carbuncles. Rest in peace, Carby. And now you know how to play healer. You're welcome.
Yeah. I feel like these 2 videos so far have come with a decent amount of good information that I feel like I see some people not following still. Like the tank one, I feel like usually most tanks I see tend to play their role correctly. I've just seen some healers that don't play their role as well. It's usually something like, oh, they don't DPS at all. And they just keep spamming heals. Which they don't need to, because the tank is at full health, so yeah. Anyway, DPS.
Everybody likes to do damage, and don't pretend like you don't, because I know you're lying. Otherwise, why would you be playing an RPG with core mechanics such as leveling up, getting stronger, and looking fashionable as fuck? It's to do massive numbers on the other guys until their numbers are so small they match the PP size of anybody who doesn't commend at the end of
People who commend the healer, people who commend the DPS, people who don't commend anyone. I will say, sometimes I don't end up commending anyone, and that's because I end up watching the cutscenes for a dungeon, or a raid, or a trial that I haven't done before, and I don't get the chance to do it because everyone has already left. That's not my fault.
of a duty. The other members leaving too quickly is no excuse. How do you expect to move quick enough to avoid AoEs if you can't even move quick enough to tell your allies they're doing a great job and that their glamour is sexy? Is that uncharacteristically nice of me? Maybe, but it means I get to steal the LB3 from the only melee in the group. Welcome to A Crap Guide to Final Fantasy. Today I'm going to be talking about every job. That's right. What, you thought only the DPS have to DPS? Boy, I could slap you with my overflowing glamour dresser. Damage is the name of the game in Final Fantasy XIV, and the entirety of the game is designed around everybody dealing.
This is gonna be updated somewhat soon. In August, I believe this is gonna go up to 800. It's no longer gonna be overflowing, although he's probably gonna get it up to, like, I don't know, fucking 820 or above that, I don't know, 999, I don't know.
Glamour dresser. Damage is the name of the game in Final Fantasy XIV, and the entirety of the game is designed around everybody dealing it, including the tanks and the healers. If the DPS roles are contributing 60% of the damage, tanks and healers are the ones who fill in the other 40. So if you don't contribute, you belong in the garbage chute. So don't get so hung up on the role names. Everybody is a DPS! What I mean specifically is that one, not only
That's kind of where the whole joke in the community comes from. There is red DPS, blue DPS, and green DPS. That's basically what it is.
is FF14 a cooperative game, which means anytime you waste is not only yours, but also anybody else in your party as well. And 2, every combat feature in FF14 is designed with dealing damage in mind. Healers and tanks get skills that actively promote doing more DPS. Hell, Sage is a healer whose skills actively benefit from
Slap a bitch, also heal your buddy. Slap a bunch of bitches in a line, heal your buddy, and give them regen. because they're so impressed at your bitch slapping skills. Make someone your heal buddy. Slap all nearby bitches. Also heal your buddy. Balls. Slap all bitches in an area. Also heal your buddy. Pretty much.
Doing DPS, and most importantly of all, Enrage. Enrage is what happens when you overstay your welcome in a dungeon or boss arena and the residents have run out of things to talk about and are just really ready for you to leave so they can finally go poop without being worried that you're going to steal all their old DreamWorks DVDs. That is to say, you're either forcefully kicked out or alternatively they instantly murder you. How do you prevent this from happening? You murder them first, of course, and then you pop in a copy of Shrek 2 so you can watch the castle siege again. And guess what? The later and later in the game you get, the more and more frequent Enrages start to appear. And they'll have more and more health too, so if somebody decides they just don't feel like they want to cooperate in this team game they decided to play, and now the boss has an eighth of its health left and is about to destroy the entire universe, Princess Fiona isn't going to be the only one who will need a hero. Hopefully it's been drilled into your head now that DPSing is essential, not just for the jobs with the title sticker, but also anyone in a fancy robe or edgy trench coat as well. Now that you know that, how does one go about dealing max deeps? The first most basic thing is...
And now it goes into some actual really good information that I feel like some people should really learn.
To do your combos. Press a button. See another button light up? Press that one. Congratulations, you have successfully completed a combo. And doing so will reap a myriad of benefits, from putting damage over time on your target, gaining mana, doing your taxes, or any variety of other additional effects. But mostly, it all achieves the same goal of dealing more damage. Secondly, you want to press these skills that the game labels as abilities and the...
This is something I feel like the game doesn't tell you, or maybe it does, but it's not obvious. I did not know that you could see what your off-global cooldowns were based on like the tooltips. I did not know that ability meant that, oh, that's an off-global cooldown. That would be nice if the game fucking told you that, oh yeah, anything that's labeled abilities is not a on the global cooldown. Like, that would be nice to know.
Community calls off global cooldowns, or OGCDs for short. More like OGCDs nuts! I personally call them free damage buttons. They cost you nothing and there's literally no reason not to press them while your normal cooldown is rolling. But this one has a long cooldown. What if I need it later? No, it doesn't. Shut up. The cooldowns in this game are so short you might as well press them, because by the time you need them again, whoop, they're back up. Not to mention, many jobs require you to press those free damage buttons to unlock even spankier damage buttons. So use your goddamn free damage buttons! It's free damage! The next rule of DPSing is knowing your ABCs. Always be casting! This means mashing away at your keyboard like a tickle monster working double time. More specifically, it means that the best way to make sure you are doing the most damage that you can is to always have your global cooldown going, even if it means accidentally pressing the wrong skill like the single brain cell that you are. Because if you're always pressing buttons, even the suboptimal one, you are doing more damage than if you weren't, and doing damage is always better than not doing damage. Yes, even Skaith. Here's a live example with my two subjects, Jan and Chloe. They both deal 1 million damage and suddenly the boss flies out of melee range. Jan sits there waiting patiently for the boss to return before she can start doing 1 million damage again. Meanwhile, Chloe's pressing the deal 1 damage at a range button the entire time they're waiting. I ask you, puny viewer, which person is dealing more damage right now? Yeah.
Okay, so I will actually mention, back when this was released, that was not a thing you would necessarily do, because that would actually break your combo as a melee. But this was after we know that... or after we had been told that, hey, yeah, that's not going to be a problem anymore. Your ranged melee attack is, or your melee's ranged attack is not going to break the combo anymore, so that's actually good information.
Yeah, but it's only 1 damage. Who's dealing more damage? As if any fight is going to get so close that dealing... Who is dealing more damage? Sure, it might not look like much, but it's going to matter when they fight the boss that has 3,000,002 health and they wipe all because the other DPS decided they don't want to press buttons. It's such little DPS, it won't make a difference? Sure, Jan. Now, one of the best things you should do to improve your damage in Final Fantasy XIV is this. It's really simple. I want you to lean in. It's a super simple thing. Here, come close. I'm gonna say the thing. Are you ready? Okay, here it goes. Read your tooltips! The little block of text that literally tells you what your skills do. Honestly, you would be surprised how many people queue into an expert dungeon and never realize they have a skill that can attack multiple targets. Even all the things I tell you in this video, the combos, the range attacks, the AoE damage skills, the free damage buttons. The best way to know what your job is capable of is by reading your job skill tooltips yourself. So you better read your goddamn tooltips, because if I see another player not knowing about their AoE combo and a mob pull at level 80, I'm gonna grab the nearest etherite and bash you so hard you're gonna be teleported to the final resting place of every ERPer's used undergarments. With all that out of the way, you'd think...
I will say though, if you end up at level 80 and you don't know about your AoE, what the fuck are you doing? That is some major, just like, you're not playing your class correctly in any way if you don't know about your AoEs. Like, If you don't know about your AoEs at level 80, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm not even kidding. What the fuck are you doing in that case? You're not playing the class correctly at that point.
Think I'd covered everything you need to do to be an ultimate clearing badass, right? Unfortunately, not Waffle Face, because the final responsibility every single role in Final Fantasy XIV shares is not dying. Oh sure, the healers help, but most of the time your own survival is on you and only you. And that means making sure you do the fight mechanics and don't take avoidable damage like it's got the cheese touch. Oh, I'm sorry, are you in the middle of your cast? You want to try and hit that purple parse like the big man you are? That's too damn bad! Each time you take damage that is avoidable means the healer has to heal you and they're dealing less damage. And on top of that, you get this cheese puff called a vulnerability stack. For each stack you have, you take more and more damage until you get one shot when the enemy farts in your general direction. All this to say, if you don't avoid enemy damage, you will not only make the healer do less DPS, but you're also likely going to die, which means 0 DPS. And if you still think that's not a big deal and the healers can just res you, each time you die you get a dunce cap of shame that reduces your DPS even more for about as long as a red light in Philadelphia. So you better stay alive or else I'm gonna raise you so I can rescue you into an AoE and kill you myself. To recap, everybody's DPS matters. Press your free damage buttons. Always be casting. Read your tooltips. Stay alive. But even if you keep all those things in mind, the #1 rule to improve your DPS performance is to practice. Striking dummies are all over the goddamn place, out in the overworld, and even in the yards of some random people's houses in the residential districts. So if you see one, there's no shame in whacking it a few times like you're auditioning to be a dominatrix. I'm sure the neighbors won't mind.
Reminds me, I should probably also get some target dummies for my house.
This makes perfect, and even all the foresight in the world will not fully translate into the doing. So go and do that doing so that one day you too can do the do and make everybody else look like doo-doo because of how good your doing skills are. And with how much doing you'll be doing, maybe someday you too can clear an ultimate and get a shiny-ass weapon of your own to show off to people AFKing at the Limsa Aetheryte Plaza. Just know the difference between an amateur and a master is that a master has failed way more times. By the way, get ready for a party wipe. Wait, what? Congratulations, you're now better at the game than you were 5 seconds ago. Ow! And now you know how to DPS, you're welcome. Oh, finally, my Q just popped.
And
No, one of the other party members withdrew. Ah, fuck!
I've seen these videos so many times at this point. Anyway, time for the video that I have not watched yet. Prep Guide to Final Fantasy XIV Melee DPS. This came out yesterday. So, it'll be interesting to see what this involves.
LunarCon! LunarCon! LunarCon!
Ah, now it makes more sense why that was the start. LunarCon. Alright, let's see that advertisement. It's basically just a Final Fantasy convention in-game.
LunarCon! LunarCon is a free player-run in-game convention in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's happening really soon! It takes place on the Crystal Data Center, so better start your DC travels now, cause boy oh boy, it's gonna be packed when it happens. But what happens in LunarCon? Performances, panels, interviews, contests, art parties, roleplay venues, hangouts, raid stuff, special guests, Turtle Smithy, Sly the Fox, Denmo McStrong Huge, Nipple, Rin Karagani, Cheesa, Esprit, Stall, Todd Howard giving away copies of Oblivion, Pine, some people from Nest, DJ and who knows how many other things. I don't. Seriously, I meant to get this video out like 2 weeks ago so that I'd promote the event a little bit earlier so that there'd be more time for people to prepare, but like time got away from me. I'm so sorry. July 29th.
I mean, he did actually also on Twitter post something about like, oh yeah, this video is gonna like, oh, there's gonna be something coming out on Friday, and then he had to post basically afterwards like on Friday like, I'm gonna have to delay that a little bit. It's not quite ready yet, and then it didn't come out until Sunday. Maybe it was like Saturday for him. I don't know. He's in the US.
To the 31st, lunarcon.net for all the info. See you there. Everyone always says you should be a team player, but honestly I've always felt like the best way to help the team is by crushing whatever obstacle that's in the way with my heavily toned squat receipts. So that's it, no more playing for anybody else. I play for me, baby. Any reason the raid wipes from now on is no longer my fault. I only exist to make big numbers fly towards the screen and watch my skill bar light up like a Christmas tree at a rave party. And you bet your precious patoot the progress preventers will be promptly pounded because this potent projector of pain will be peppering those beasties until your pack is paved with enough resulting pellets that every peddler will pray to be pampered by a more palatable pacifist. Welcome to a crap guide to Final Fantasy.
All the peace. I like DPS.
Being a DPS is like being the king of capitalism, because the way you play, taking care of others, is for bitches. Pay no attention to anybody else's well-being unless it directly affects you, and so long as you're alive and safe, you can act like anything bad that happens around you is probably not your fault. All that brain power instead will be put towards what really matters, your complicated as shit damage rotation. That's right, step aside tanks 1, 2, 3 and healers 2 damage buttons. These are where the big guys and gals play. Or at least that's what they like to tell themselves, since one of the only party utilities they have to worry about is pressing the faint button once in a blue moon. Their hotbar will more often have dozens of buttons all dedicated to big damage. The melee DPS is the most important person in the party.
Okay, wanna watch me get a bone for a second of uptime? Yes. Wanna watch me do it again? Featuring Dazu from DMC. WASD is completely rubbed off. To an extent, yes. LB's boss, the expansion slate. I've seen that a few times. You get a gap closer, and you get a gap closer, and you get a gap closer.
As you are the one on the front lines inspecting the bad guy's anus like it's where all the Hrothgar hats are hiding, while avoiding the enemy's sprays of hot poisonous gamer stink. Not only are you going to be up in their grill turning their cheeks into a ripe tomato while flip-flopping in and out of danger like you're a politician making pancakes, you're also going to make like an adult film star and learn positionals! Certain attacks in your damage rotation will require you to land them in specific areas around the enemy target, specifically the rear and the flank, in order to deal additional damage. How do you tell where those positions are? By the massive disembodied titty underneath the target. See this nipple? That's the front where the tank will.
You used to call this a fucking donut. Now it's apparently a titty.
Tell where those positions are by the massive disembodied titty underneath the target. See this nipple? That's the front where the tank will be sucking on the sweet milkies that are tank busters. Which obviously means this conspicuous ticulus on the opposite end is the rear. What about the flank? That'll be on either side of the enemy. And if you're ever confused as to where each area begins and ends, a useful tip on how to tell is imagine there's a big X dividing each of the quadrants. Or you could just press true north and pretend positionals don't exist like it's an embarrassing memory of that time you did the Gangnam Style at school.
True north. All the way. Don't have a way to do the positional? True north. Simple as that.
Unironically. The only time it isn't the case is when the enemy has a full ring without an opening, in which case you won't have to worry about any of that guff, and you can just sit there like an off-tank who's actually having fun. Otherwise, between hopping back and forth in these two spots and running around catching up to the boss whenever the tank feels like doing cardio, your little wall's legs are gonna get so much working out that they'll be thick as the milk from the teats of a whale made of molasses. Which is to say, expect to move. A lot. But what if I'm not in the right place for a positional or the boss is far away? Just remember the old adage. Always be casting! Even if you're not able to land your positionals or if the boss is too far away to make a melee attack, be sure to always be pressing your buttons no matter what. Unless you're a monk who has no ranged attack and you have to sit there thinking about how your job will inevitably be reworked yet again in the next patch. However, there.
Or in the case of monk, there's meditation. So you can get meditation stacks, because that's the only thing you can really do in that case. Or if you can stand still, I guess you can. I think there's a button that makes you generate something if you're standing still. I don't really remember. I think there might be, but I don't know.
There's another secret epic gamer option that allows you to maximize the DPS you output at the risk of yourself as well as potentially everybody else, but it's usually the healers. This technique is called greed. The funny thing about AoE markers in Final Fantasy XIV is that they only ever mark you for damage if you are standing in them the moment they go away. This means that if you're fast on your fingers, you can stand there DPSing the bad guy while soaking in their radioactive orange juice until the very last second where you backflip out just as the dropkick of doom skims your fuzzy anime hairs and you don't lose a second of uptime. As I said, however, this is a high risk.
Oh yeah. I think I've tried doing that a few times and it doesn't always work.
If your timing is off and you spend just a millisecond too long, you'll be covered in cheese puffs. You might even die, or in some cases you'll have to suffer a fate worse than having to read the entire 24-hour chat log of Limsa. Damage down.
no.
Shh, it's okay. Nobody's gonna take away your big damage numbers. Papa's here to make sure you don't greed too hard if you're not ready, okay? Okay. As the melee DPS, you also have first dibs on limit break against most bosses since yours deals the most damage, specifically when they're single. This is because when you hit the limit break button, you're not actually attacking them, just showing them pictures of a happy, healthy relationship, and nothing hurts more than emotional damage. Just ask Arianje.
Yeah.
But what are the individual jobs whom of which
Fuck. You gotta hear that sound again.
nothing hurts more than emotional damage? Just ask Arianje.
Yeah.
But what
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah.
But what are the individual
Yeah.
jobs whom of which may layeth said up-close slappers to thine adversaries? There are 5, and each one is a different flavor of anime and edge. Monk, for those of you who want to go fast, having one of the shortest global cooldowns in the game means you'll be dealing out punches like you're a pissed-off caterer at a middle school sock hop. Instead of the traditional combos, each attack puts you in a specific stance. Bird, cat, and monkey. Each one combos into another attack that benefits from each respective stance. Your rotation will be all about swapping stances around more than a kid trying sick moves to impress their crush at a middle school sock hop. You also have perfect balance, which allows you to go freestyle and pick whichever stance you're feeling more at the moment without having to do any of the normal stance setup. If you repeat the same stance 3 times during your freestyle, you get a purple token on your stylish moves punch card. And if you do 3 different stances during the freestyle, you get a white one. Do a freestyle with 3 unique moves one more time while you have both a purple and white tokens on your punch card, and you get to turn it in to make your crush dripping wet with damage because for some reason you get to kick them in the face. The only problem is you are the only melee without a ranged attack to keep your uptime. And although you do have a dash that lets you zip around like Goku on a triple shot ristretto down blend macchiato, if ever you find yourself without a target to punch during combat, you can call timeout on your buffs so they stop moving while you have a little cry because your crush rejected you at the middle school sock hop.
Okay, they do have a thing that basically allows you to just keep something going. I thought they had. I know that. What is that called? Samurai. That as well.
Goon is probably the most straightforward of the melee classes and the one most likely to have a tragic backstory. You've got a 5-button combo that swaps between hard slaps and sakura flowers and a handful of buffs that will turn anybody else in the party into your partner in dragon slaying. What kind of dragon slaying? That's up for you to decide, which you'll have plenty of time to do while you're suspended 20 moms in the air dropping in like a scantily clad human airstrike who's got a date with Nidhogg at 5 and a party at the quicksand at 6. Yes, the Matanga in the room. Dragoon has several damage-dealing jumps necessary to unlocking special attacks in their rotation that will lock you into an animation, which means you're stuck and unable to move out of your location while the boss is just about ready to piss all over the floor right before you land. So be wary when using your jumps, lest you fling yourself right into a danger puddle and perpetuate the tired singular joke the 14 community has for the class. On the bright side though, you do get the objectively best job mentor in the form of
Hell yeah.
Ninja is great for people who enjoy American football, because for every 10 seconds of excitement, there's a minute of fuck all. Your rotation is all about fitting every goddamn cooldown you can into a small window of time where you make the enemy take more damage, and on top of that, you also have the ability to live out every weeb's dream and do a bunch of hand gestures to cast magic attacks, and also drop down into a low position and run with your arms flopping behind you in the breeze, which Final Fantasy objectively proves makes you go faster. You got 3 hand symbols, and depending on what order you do, you will make a different kind of anime reference. For example, go
Flash, TMNT, Ice Age, and Taro. Nina Inverse. I have no idea what that
when
one is.
Tenjin Chichijin unlocks the secret dark ending of Cory in the house and causes the enemy to be susceptible to bonus damage. But maybe you're facing a mob of enemies who are immune to A-rank powered life forms, so you'll instead have to go Tenjin Tenchi for 3 seasons of Sonic Underground, which will kick sand into their eyes with how fast you'll be running circles around the slowpokes. More or less, you'll have to do some studying up on what combos do what, but here's a secret cheat sheet. Only the final mudra in the sequence matters. Fuck, it's the skill floor police! Cheese it! Samurai, the job most likely to have a dick measuring contest with a black mage. I'd be careful though, their dad works at Square Enix. This weeb is the most selfish of the melees as it provides no utility for the rest of the party and instead acts like the average soccer player, focusing on being the star of the show who gets all the attention, especially when it drops to the floor clutching its knee when somebody sneezes on them. Your attacks contribute to a kink bar, which allows you to shame the enemy in a variety of ways, as your katana is also a substitute for a horny bat. So you remember how the monk has a punch card? Well, so do you, except yours is your sword and the punches are stickers. You have 3 basic combos, each one giving you a slight buff and slapping a sticker onto your katana. And depending on how many stickers you have, you will get one of 3 different rewards when you turn in your sticker sheet. With 1 sticker, you'll apply a dot that'll last longer than it takes to clean your room. Don't lie to me, I know a majority of my audience has depression. 2 stickers will charge up an AoE around you. And 3 stickers will make...
Oh my god. just did an entire animation for this.
Each sticker attack also gives you an additional separate sticker, and once you have 3 of those, you get to do an additional.
Oh my god.
And finally, the Reaper, the transfer student from Garlemald who got the rest to mauled at the fact that they think they're better than the rest of the melees. Which I mean they are, but don't let any Reaper hear you say that. It'll go to their heads. Being the darkest and edgiest of melees means that your job gauge is the Dark Souls HUD. Similar to the Samurai, you build up a bar that can be spent on big slaps. And those big slaps give you edgy boy points that can be spent on additional big slaps. Except this time, they're coral blue number 57 gloss lipstick. Once you've kissed enough boys to build up your fashion bar, you get to turn into a spooky ghost. You do the slice. You do the spooky slice. The spooky slice. Now your swings have some spice. You do the slice. It's just your soul that's the price. You do the slice. You do the spooky slice. And now you know how to play Melee. You're welcome. From the northern snow front of Ilsabard, the land was cold, the people scarred. They sought the void with a daring act, and empowered themselves with the deviant pact. You do the slice, you do the spooky slice, the spooky slice. Now your swings have some spice. You do the slice, it's just your soul that's the price. You do the slice, you do the spooky slice.
Alright, that was a pretty good one. Okay. Well, time to wait like 6 months for the next one. Wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being something like that. Okay. See, I just clicked. I need to do a small cleanup on my playlist stuff. There we go. Okay. That one. Alright. So, we have some questions from this guy we need to do, and a lot of them. Oh my god, there's a lot of them. Let's just get started on them.
Greetings, madam. Your reputation precedes you. Once you slay a few primals, word gets around. Seeing as you're so strong and powerful, I was wondering if you might be able to help me out with something. I want nothing more than to support the great Sir Emeric. But Ishgardian society revolves around a nobility. Those not of noble birth, such as myself, have no power at all. The only way to gain the power of nobility is through a truly noble display of courage. There's one simple way to do that: slay a monstrous, ancient dragon. There are some feats that cannot be ignored. So I took up my spear and came to the convictory. Sadly, things have not gone as well as I had hoped. I'm still somewhat new to this, you see. I really don't know much about dragons, especially the rarer, larger ones. All the knights here are competing with each other for honor and glory. None of them will share what they know with each other, for fear of losing any edge they may have. But you're not a convictor. They're not competing with you. I doubt they'd be nearly as tight-lipped with you as they are with me and the other knights here. You might be able to learn a thing or two from me about how I might find and kill one of the larger dragons.
Okay. So, speak the Sly Scout.
You want to know about dragons, do you? Well, you're speaking to the right man. I know stuff about them beasts that even the dragoons ain't heard of. Oh ho ho, don't think I'll be telling you for free, though. Tell you what, I'm due to go out on patrol any minute now, but it's far too bloody cold for it if you ask me. I'll put me patrol points in your map here, and if you go do my patrol for me, I'll tell you what I know.
Okay. So we'll just go and stand watch. And wouldn't be surprised if the last one has some enemies up here. Perhaps. Also, that's at least A rank. Not to mark.
Back already, are you? Well, a deal's a deal, I'll tell you what I know. I've no idea why, but the corpses of weaker dragons seem to attract the higher-ranking Dravanians. Once you know this, it makes it pretty easy to lay a trap for some of the bigger, nastier dragons out there. Now listen. Don't you go telling anyone about this, you hear? Just think what'd happen if everyone knew. Things re dangerous enough around here to begin with, especially lately. Imagine some lowborn, some young lad with dreams of nobility and nothing to lose, some guy who's come out here to find glory at any cost. Imagine he finds out how to bring the biggest, nastiest monsters in the realm out of hiding. Just keep it to yourself is what I'm saying. You can never be too careful. Ah, you're back. Were you able to learn anything useful? I see. So I can use the corpses of weaker dragons to attract bigger ones. It seems like I might be able to bag quite a prestigious catch this way. I start with a small one, kill that, then wait for a bigger one to come along. Then if I kill that one, an even bigger one should appear. Then I kill that one, and so on. You have my deepest gratitude. Thanks to you, I now know what I must do. Though, I might ask another favor in future.
Introductory dragon slaying.
I'm working on my plan to draw out a great, ferocious dragon. A new recruit has just joined the Convictors, so I'm delegating the execution of the plan to him. The lad shows a lot of potential, but he's sorely lacking in experience. You though, my friend, have more experience than anyone in the Convictory. I'd be eternally grateful if you could put some of that famous skill to good use and lend a young lad a hand. The soldier's name is Saint Trilmo. Talk to him. He knows all the relevant details, so he can answer any further questions you might have. Ah, you must be the adventurer Dominiac said would be assisting me. I made it quite clear that I could handle it myself, but the man won't listen. I'm ever so sorry, madam. Master Saint Trilmo has been having a bad day. He means no disrespect. We'd be more than happy to benefit from your assistance. We ought to start by reviewing the plan. Recently, there have been sightings of a particularly unusual, if somewhat diminutive, member of the Dravanian horde, a Tullihand. It's been observed near the great tree to the northeast. If the information you've gathered is correct, we should be able to kill this smaller dragon quite easily and use it as bait to attract a larger one. We shall sally forth to the great tree now, and find this beast. Once your preparations are in order, rendezvous with us there. We'll be waiting for you.
So is this tree? Yep, seems like it.
We found a devious little thing, but he's a sight quicker than we'd anticipated. He's gone and hidden himself around here somewhere. He's no doubt waiting for the ideal moment to strike.
Time for some boat moves.
Thank you, adventurer. I suppose I owe you an apology for my arrogant tone earlier. I'm still not quite accustomed to life at the Convictory. These Dravanian thralls truly are pitiful things. Enslaved by the greater dragons and used as mere tools, cogs in the Dravanian war machine. To be forced to fight against your will. I dare say it's no different to the situation I was once in, a tool of the high houses and the Holy See. Enerode, we'd best get this thing back to the camp. You go on ahead and inform Dominiac of our success.
Okay. I believe there's a total of 3 of these, like, Dragon Slaying named quests. After this one we have Intermediate Dragon Slaying, and then we have Advanced Dragon Slaying and Expert Dragon Slaying. Then Unknown Ultimatum. After that. Then we got Personal Effects. Then we apparently have something called Aelith Absconds, I think it's called. Then a Missing Tooth. Then a Noble Purpose, and then a War Without End. Just the last one. Jesus Christ, that last one has a fuck ton of steps as well. Ugh.
Ah, back already, I see. I take it you had no difficulty in retrieving the corpse of the Tullihand? If all goes according to plan, the upcoming battles could be increasingly dangerous. But if you're anywhere near as powerful as they say you are, and if you lend us your assistance, I don't think we'll have any trouble. The time has come to enact the next step in my plan. Saint Trulmo is already making preparations. He should be above the cliff to the north of the Convictory. Meet up with him there and lend him a hand. Thank you, adventurer.
Okay.
Ah, you're finally here. You might be pleased to note that the information you obtained was indeed correct. Some horrible Dravanian beast, it looked like a Wadjet, came up out of nowhere, grabbed the slain Tullihand's body in its claws, and scuttled off as quickly as it had appeared. There was something of a scuffle as it escaped and it kicked our men about a bit. The creature itself scurried away under the cliff to the northwest of the Convictory. Please chase it down. We'll see to the wounded.
So it should be right over here, it seems. God, I wish this quest wasn't so long with some really, really long quests. It's like this is just to unlock one guy who has a triple triad match, so you can beat him and then get one card. He only has one card that's exclusive to him. So annoying.
Thank you. I didn't see the fight itself, but having seen you in combat before, I think I have a good idea of how it turned out. We'll collect the body and put it somewhere the Dravanians can see it. But these Dravanians sure are a curious bunch. Whatever are they trying to achieve by gathering the corpses of the weaker thralls? What are they using the bodies for? They say that the smarter animals out there have feelings. Perhaps the Dravanians are simply showing respect for their fallen comrades. Perhaps they can't stand to see their friends' bodies torn apart by the elements. Perhaps they just want to let them rest in peace. Ha 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 ha. You do have some peculiar ideas sometimes. You really think that these monsters have feelings? That they respect each other? No. They're no different to us. The strong use the weak as tools. There's not a shred of respect to be seen. Your entire hypothesis is... I'm sorry, I'm ranting. We'll head out and collect the dead Wadjet. You report back to Dominiac and let him know that things are proceeding according to plan.
Okay, at least some of these quests are not too long. At least something. Yeah, I forgot about that almost. I still have my nutsy parts left to do.
Back already? Did the information you gathered turn out to be accurate? Were you able to attract a larger dragon?
Yes.
Good, good. It seems that the next step in my plan has unfolded quite nicely. If things continue like this, we should be able to bag quite an impressive catch before long. We're just about to carry out the next step of my plan. Saint Trolmo has finished his preparations, so he should be waiting for you out on the cliff to the north. If all goes well, we will attract an even larger beast than before, so be on your guard. Did you see that Evis just now? It snatched up the Wadjet's corpse and made its escape. Our men are chasing the thing down as we speak. The bait was set under the cliff northwest of the Convictory. We should head there first, then follow the trail from there. Be on your guard. Evis are renowned for their cunning.
Okay, so I placed the... Didn't even move the bait. Just left it in the same place that I killed it in.
It seems the Evis has fled to the northwest into Dragon Spit. We'll block the exits and corner it. You get in there and help finish it off. Did you slay it? Marvelous. Good work. Very good indeed. But, did you notice anything? About the Evis? It's just that I got to thinking while you were slaying it. Is it true, what they say? Did it speak? They say that Evis are what become of men, heretics who drink dragon blood. But, what could make a man? Master Saint Trolmo. Yes, yes. Good work, Shauna. We will collect the body of the beast. You should return to Dominiac and report our success.
Down there. I really wish that this place actually had an aetherite, but it's such a small outpost that it doesn't make sense for them to have one.
Back already? Things are proceeding swimmingly, it seems. But you look somehow troubled. What happened? I suppose it's not surprising that he might say something like that. Saint Trulmo was born into nobility. He knows all too well the pain of losing honor and status. But that's all in the past now. I only hope that this experience might steel his resolve. Ah, it is good to see you. The corpse of the Evis you slew is being put into position right now to attract a great dragon for us to slay. However, I'm concerned about Saint Trulmo. He seems even more morose than his normal grim self. I want to help him, but, perhaps because I'm his commanding officer, he really doesn't want to talk to me about it. Do you think you might be able to talk to him for me? The two of you have been through quite a few battles together now. He might be more inclined to share his troubles with you. He's to the north of the camp. Preparations for the next step of the plan should all be finished by now, so he'll just be waiting for you there.
Okay.
Well met, friend. As you can see, the Evis's body has been laid out in plain sight, but none of the Horde have shown any interest in the thing. Me. Something I want to talk about? No, not really. Though, spending all day keeping vigil over Dravanian corpses leads one to thinking about these creatures more than one might expect. All things considered, this Evis was quite a high-ranking creature of the Horde. I've no doubt that whatever comes to collect its body will be quite a mighty dragon indeed. They're wise and intelligent creatures, and they won't be tricked easily. I've taken a great deal of care with the preparations. But still no dragon comes. Do you think you might take a look at the Evis for me? Just make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary, something I might have missed.
Okay.
Nothing out of the ordinary? Well, if it looks good to you, then I'm satisfied. It must just be a matter of time. If it's all the same to you, would you mind waiting with us for the dragon to show itself? A wyvern. I'd only ever heard stories about them. An ancient creature that once soared effortlessly through the clouds. Most go their whole lives without ever seeing one of these legendary beasts. I should take a minute to check its body before we take it back to camp. You go back to the convictory and report to Dominiac. We'll handle getting the dragon's bodies back to the camp.
Okay, that's actually not the end of the quest.
That certainly took longer than I expected. Did the plan work? Tell me everything that happened. A wyvern? You slew a wyvern? I have no words to express my gratitude. Thank you for your help. Saint Trulmo should be back by now. Could you do me one more favor and make sure he's made it here safely? Ah, you've reported back to Dominiac already? We got back just moments ago. We were just about to start examining this beast. Would you be so kind as to lend a hand? You may as well start with the leg. It's as good a place as any. You find a Tulihan scale and a Wajet scale in the wyvern's claws. You finished already? Did you find anything interesting?
A scale from a fallen Tulihan used to draw further servants. the Iranian horde into the field. And of a full budget.
A scale from the Tully hand, and one from the Wajet, both in the claws of the wyvern. This mighty creature carried away their bodies, and kept mementos in memory of its fallen comrades. These creatures know each other, recognize each other, mourn for each other, that even Dravanians would show such concern for each other. I grew up depending on my status and nobility. I led such an easy life that, when my house fell, when I was betrayed by those I trusted, I blamed everyone around me. In retrospect, I should have blamed myself. It's my own fault that I was abandoned by both those I served and those who served me. Saint Trulmo, why do you think I am still here, serving you? Your house may well have been disgraced, but I serve you, not your house. I fully intend to remain your loyal servant to the end. I think, if anything, you are too loyal. But I still greatly appreciate it. I came here looking for a place to die. Perhaps now is a good time to let the old, bitter me die, to let go of all that hatred. From now on, I want to live, not for social status or nobility, but to protect those close to me. To protect my friends. To protect the people of Ishgard. I shall travel to my family's graves, and swear an oath to protect those I care about. I've not yet been to their graves. I've been too ashamed to show my face. But if even the Dravanians can mourn their dead properly, then I think I should find it within myself to do the same. You seem pleased with yourself. Did something happen with Saint Trulmo? I see. Thank you. I, too, owe you my thanks. Thank you, not just for the inspiration you provided Saint Trulmo, but for the invaluable assistance you provided in helping my plan come to fruition. If things continue to progress this well, we may catch ourselves a dragon yet greater still than this wyvern. A great accomplishment like that would serve Sir Emeric's cause well. And that's not all. Young though he may be, Saint Trulmo has achieved truly courageous feats of combat and has opened a world of opportunity for himself. When other young men hear of his exploits, they'll be eager to rally to Emeric's cause and fight under his banner. If anything, I'd like nothing more than to recruit you. But somehow I get the feeling that you're not the kind to settle down in one place, much less somewhere as remote and isolated as the Convictory. Still, I hope that you'll continue to lend us your strength from time to time.
I think it might be this quest now. Let's see here. Unknown ultimatum.
We will try it eventually. You'll have my answer once we do.
Do you realize that your unit is the laughingstock of the Convictory? I will only wait so long for your answer.
Did your mother never tell you not to eavesdrop? But seeing as you're already listening, do you think you could help me out with something? Dominiak is my commanding officer. I don't know what he's been plotting lately, but we haven't been sent out to hunt Dravanians for quite some time now. Every night the other units come back with more notches in their spears. And we're just sitting around doing nothing. The longer we wait for orders from Dominiak, the more we get left behind. So we've decided to stop waiting. I'm planning to gather the troops and head out on our own to get a few kills under our belts. Do you think you could lend a hand? Alith here can fill you in on the details. She can seem a little odd sometimes, but she's a good girl. Yes. I'm Alith. Who are you? Understood. I was just about to gather the troops. A scout from another unit just got back. He says they were attacked by a dragon. A big one. This is our chance at a good kill. They were attacked at Red Rim, to the south. Let's go.
Okay. Off to Red Room then. There she is.
The scouts were attacked near here. Some of them were killed. Find one.
Corpse, and we're gonna get attacked.
Did you find a dead scout? A dragon? By yourself? That's your kill. You get the credit. But tell me how you did it. I must grow stronger. I must rise above the fools inhabiting this realm. Pretend you didn't hear that. Take that dragon fang back to Margit. I'll deal with the scout's body. Ah, welcome back. Something tells me you have a present for me. A dragon's fang. That's quite an achievement. You clearly know how to handle yourself in a fight. But this fang is smaller than what I'd been led to expect. Perhaps the dragon you slew is not the one that attacked the scouts. I've been examining the dragon fang you recovered. I'm quite sure that the beast you slew was not the one that attacked the scouting party. The survivor's report describes a dragon far too large to be the source of this fang. And from how Elith's report describes it, several of the dead convictors are unaccounted for. The beasts in the mountains will make short work of unattended bodies. But we must do what we can to confirm these soldiers as deceased, for their families' sake. Return to Red Rim and hunt down the nearby Slate Yetis. Try to find anything that we can identify as belonging to these fallen troops. Elith is on her way to Falcon's Nest to assist in the funeral proceedings. Take what you find to her there. I will let her know to expect you.
Okay, go and kill 5 hits. And of course I can't get the last ice out of my water bottle now. And yep, looks like I need to kill 5 of these. There's one. And Falcon's Nest.
I've been apprised of the situation. Give me what you found.
Okay, judging from the numerous tears and bite marks, the previous owner of this chainmail did not make it out of the suit alive.
Thank you. I will make sure it reaches their families. How can I earn glory when assigned with such petty busy work? They won't be bossing me around when I pretend you didn't hear that. Report back to Margit. Your mission is complete. Ah, back already. I hope you didn't run into any problems. That's good to hear. As soon as Elith returns, we can get to work improving our tactics for the next battle. She should be back soon.
Let's go with money. Yeah, so I gotta say, Edith, she seems kind of strange. Like Margaret said. Seems like she wants to get power? Something.
Elith left Falcon's Nest quite some time ago, but I still see no sign of her. I hate to say it, but I think she went back to where you fought that last dragon. I've got a really bad feeling about this. Do you think you could head up to Red Rim and make sure she's all right?
Okay. Off we go to that place again. Not quite there. Last time we went here, now we need to go all the way down there. Apparently, things up with the insights. Huh. I don't know there was a path to the hinterlands from here.
I've failed. Failed. It's not safe here. Run. Such a beast, slain before my eyes. I envy your strength. I used the dragon you slowed to attract a stronger one. To hell's with the plan, I thought. But it bested me. I was too weak. Why? Why am I so weak? Too weak to change this god's damned nation. Too weak to Pretend you didn't hear that. Please give me the dragon's fang. I will deliver it to Margit. The fang, please. I will deliver it to Margit.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll head back now.
Okay, let's see, the next quest is apparently pretty short, only 3 steps. 3 steps and one after that, and then we have one more. Wow, how many steps is this fucking quest? 12 steps is the last of these quests. Jesus Christ, that's a long one.
Finally. You're back. Did you find Alith? Alith really is impatient to prove herself. But she has her reasons. Her lover was murdered by a nobleman. You can see why she's not happy with Ishgard as it is. I can't say I completely disagree with her. Hells, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a lowborn who didn't share the sentiment in one way or another. I guess we're all like the heretics, in our own way. I should probably stop talking. I hate to think what might happen to me if a nobleman overheard. Anirode, thank you for finding Alith. So, where is Alith, anyway? You said you found her, but I still haven't seen her. Hey? She took the dragon fang and headed back here before you? Well, she never came back here. What's she playing at this time? Please, head back to Red Rim. It's the last place she was sighted. Maybe she's still around there somewhere. Please hurry.
God, I'm starting to hate having to go to Red Rim constantly. I'm actually curious, do I have a... What's my map speed here? It's 2 stars, so the same as flying, I believe. Iron, ready, fight.
There is no sign of Alith.
And back to market. God. I hate it when quests are like this, where it's just like, oh yeah, this place you've been to like 7 times already. Let's just go back there again, do one fight, and then head back to this. Can you at least make it so that we don't have to do that? Make this like several quests, and maybe just do it once, and then send us to somewhere else? It makes sense for this one because of whether this was the last place we saw of it, but still.
Did you find Alith? Was she there?
No, she wasn't.
No sign of her? I see. What in the 7 hells is she thinking? We'll never find Alith if we don't even know where to look. Ask the troops around the convictory. See if anyone has seen her.
Alith. She's that odd girl, yes. I've not seen her lately, no. Why? Has something happened?
Oh, Alith? I thought nothing of it, but it's been quite a while since last I saw her. But it's not unusual for soldiers on mission to be away from the camp for some time.
Alith. Yes, I was just on patrol. I saw her walking around with some noblemen. The two of them were out to the northeast, out towards the North Star.
That's probably the person that murdered her husband. Or whatever the relationship she had with a guy that was murdered by a nobleman. And of course we need to go to the complete other side of the entire map. This was given at 56. Technically, you would in theory have been able to get flying at this point, I'm pretty sure, but still.
Chasing me down for the Dragon Fang? You're too late. I don't have it. I tried to trade the Fang with a nobleman. He offered me power, status. I was a fool. He tricked me. Took the Fang from me. I have nothing to show for it. My beloved was framed for theft by a nobleman. The trial was a farce, trial by combat. The nobleman died, instantly, painlessly, in the calamity. That's when I realized, you can't change this world except from the top. I have to climb higher. I have to raise my status through merit. I have to.
You don't have to.
Alith, you're no different to me. I want to change this rotten nation, too. And I'm frustrated by how slow Dominiac is to take action. But he explained to me that change doesn't have to come from the top. Even from the bottom of society, we can bring about change. Even with what little power we have, if we work together, we can make a difference. Please, Alith, will you fight with me? Help me change Ishgard. We may not be noble, shining dragoons, but we can do it. Margit. I thought I was alone. I was so focused on changing the world, I didn't see the allies by my side. Let's fight together, Margit. Thank you for all your help, adventurer. Please meet us back at the Convictory. I'd like to speak with you further, but not out here in the middle of the cold and the wilderness.
Let's go all the way back there, god damn it. Means the next quest is gonna be the last one from this quest line, and then I can finally play against Dominic, or how the hell you pronounce this fucking name, Triple Triad, and then I just need to get one card from beating him. Ow. Great fucking use of my time to just get that. I can understand some NPCs being locked behind like 1 or 2 quests, but when it's this much and it's not interesting, and it's just more of a pain in the ass due to how much you need to like fly around to like halfway across the zone, it's like, this is not fun.
Hello again, and thank you again. Truth be told, I hardly feel I had the right to speak to Alith as I did. When you first approached me, I was speaking to a nobleman from another unit. He was asking me to abandon Dominiac's unit and join him. I was planning on doing it, too. Dominiac never put me on the front lines where all the glory is. When I asked for your help to start killing dragons and gaining glory in combat, it was mostly to see how Dominiac would react. I decided that, if I proved myself completely capable in frontline combat and he still left me in the support unit, just handling supplies, I would leave his unit, and take the other nobleman up on his offer. But while we were searching for Olith, Dominiac said something to me that made me reconsider. He explained that any fighting force is made of frontline fighters and the troops behind that support them. The front lines can never feel safe if they can't rely on their support to be there when needed. That's why he puts his strongest, most reliable troops in support positions. He's no fool. He has carefully considered where each soldier can do the most good. Once I realized this, I realized that there's no shame in supporting my unit. Just as warriors can make a difference from either the front or the rear of the battle, so too can we change Ishgard from either the top of society or the very bottom. I truly believe this, and want to fight together with Olith to achieve it. It is a pity we lost the dragon tooth to that nobleman, but we can let this drive us to gain even greater trophies from even greater dragons. Thank you again, adventurer.
Firstly, please, let me apologize. The corpse of the wyvern you slew has been stolen. There's a place, the Dreaming Dragon, that holds great importance to the Dravanians. We placed the body there and waited for a great and powerful dragon, but none appeared. The corpse, however, disappeared. We can only assume that someone slipped in, under cover of night, and stole it. We're conducting an investigation now. If you'd be willing, we'd greatly appreciate your assistance. Please speak with Margit for more information.
The investigation into the missing wyvern body? We already know who the bloody thief is. Do you remember the nobleman that stole the dragon fang from Olith? Well, it seems he found out about your plan and is doing what he can to interfere.
Trying to steal another's achievements is really, truly detestable. But, be that as it may, we plan to try resolving this amicably, through negotiation.
In fact, we've talked to the man already, and he's put forth his conditions.
I imagine he wants to be put in charge of the operation, does he?
Indeed he does. Dominiac, what would you have us do? Know that whatever you decide, you have the entire unit's unwavering support.
This puts us in quite a difficult situation. We can't just let that man take credit for all our hard work, but we also have a duty to fight back against the Dravanian horde at all cost. I want this victory to belong to the troops that fight under my command, but we also can't let an opportunity like this, an opportunity to slay a great, ancient dragon, pass us by.
I think we all understand how you feel, Dominiac.
Thank you. That makes this just a little bit easier. We have no choice but to meet his demands. I'll meet with this nobleman myself and tell him that we'll agree to his terms. Please find Saint Trulmo and let him know of this development. He has...
Says they skipped the last bit, but... yeah.
Gods, it's all gone to hells. Some idiot nobleman came up claiming to be in charge of the unit. He had the wyvern corpse with him. But before I could tell him what I thought of his claims. I see. Well, that explains who the nobleman was and why he thought he was in charge. Dominiac is the type who would yield control if it meant slaying a dragon. Unfortunately, I fear the situation may have been complicated somewhat. For you see, while he and I were arguing, a huge, monstrous dragon swooped down, an Ajitara, I think it was. Well, it had killed the nobleman before I could blink. And as soon as it had arrived, it was flying away, with the dead wyvern in its claws. Olith is addressing the aftermath. Do you think you could lend her a hand?
This corpse was the nobleman that tricked me. He turned tail, tried to save himself. He tried to make off with a dragon bone. See if you can't find it. If you do, take it back to Dominiac.
An Ajitara attacked the nobleman? That explains it, then. We just received word that a large detachment of the Dravanian horde is headed towards the convictory, and they're being led by a large and ancient dragon. It must be a retaliatory attack by the Ajitara. We must do something about it. But we're not ready to fend off an attack of that size just yet. Perhaps that wyvern bone could attract the Ajitara and draw the force it leads away from the convictory. Here, I've placed a mark on your map. Take the bone there and distract the Ajitara. That should buy us the time we need to mobilize our forces, strengthen our defenses, and meet the Dravanian horde head-on.
There. God, this quest is taking a while, I feel like. I do know though that here Friday and Saturday, I think I've already posted it like in the schedule on Twitter, but on Friday and Saturday, or at least Friday, I'm gonna be starting the Dora Dark Apocalypse quest line and raid series. That entire thing has like, it was like 25 quests in total where you're completely done with it. And like there's only 3 of those quests that actually give raids. The rest are just story things. And apparently there's a 6-week period where you need to do some of the raids like a few times, 1 time each week in order to get something, in order to progress a quest. But you need to do basically 3 different quests that have like that time, I don't know, limiting factor before you can finally do the last quest, which gives you an orchestra roll and an achievement. I am not looking forward to that. The giant femur of a Byron. How you expect this to fit inside your traveler's bag is a mystery. Let's let for another time. So we're both doing the same quest here. Here. Okay, we only have 2 steps after this one.
Good work. With the time you bought us, we were able to prepare a defense and drive off the horde's attack. Did you recover the wyvern bone? It seems the bone was effective bait. What happened to the Ajitara? Ha 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 ha. Why did I even ask? You only needed to slow the thing down, but I suppose I should have expected no less from the woman that slew the primals. We need to inform the Holy See of what has happened. Both of the unfortunate accident that befell one of their nobles, and of the glorious victory over the Dravanian horde, shared by both yourself and my unit. I can only hope that this victory will draw attention to the fighting strategy that allowed it, the cooperation between the front line and the logistical troops supporting them. It will change the way the convictos fight. It would make this a place not for fallen nobles and starving paupers to run to, but the home of an elite fighting force gloriously defending Ishgard from the Dravanian onslaught.
Ah, so this was your plan all along.
This is but one step in a much greater plan. And it was a step that someone like Sir Emmerich, someone far removed from the actual fighting itself, is not able to take. Step by step, we can change Ishgard for the better. That is my goal.
I will be fighting at your side, Dominiac. For Ishgard, and for you, and more than anything else, for myself.
You're loyal, Margit, and that's a good thing. It's for the loyalty of troops like you that I am here. You know, I don't see Saint-Trulmo or Elith around. You should probably try and find them. I think they'd be glad to know that you are safe. You keep looking at your hand, Elith. What's the matter?
It's a ring. It was left to me by a woman I cared for during the aftermath of the calamity. She would look at it when she knew she was dying. She told me that seeing it let her know she was still alive.
Wait, that ring. The seal on the ring, it's the coat of arms of my house? The woman you cared for, that was my mother?
Your nobility?
Nobility? No. Well, technically, I suppose I am. My father was a knight in service of House Halenard. But after the great failure at the Steel Vigil, after the dishonor of failing in his mission, he was stripped of his rank. The shame was all too great for him and he took his own life. Left with neither money nor prestige, my mother fled. And you, it seems, cared for her at the end.
But what are you doing here?
To be honest, I came here looking for a noble death. Filled with hatred for Ishgard, for the nobility, for my family. I was ready to give up. But this last great battle has made me reconsider.
Me too. Growing up in the Broom, I hated all those things and more. Do you think we can do it? Change Ishgard, that is. A pauper and a nobleman, working together.
I think we can, one day. But even now, you and I are here together, speaking as equals. Just as I have changed my mind, so too might this nation and its people change. Wouldn't you agree? We still have much to work at. One day, those at the bottom will bring about change in those at the top. Until that day, hold on to that ring, Elith. What an incredible coincidence. Maybe even fate, perhaps. Whatever it may be, if Saint-Trulmo and Elith are going to work together for the sake of the future, that's enough for me. Thank you yet again for all your assistance and cooperation. Margit is busy taking stock after the battle, but she, too, deeply appreciates all you've done for us. I hear that even Americ has expressed his thanks to you. I doubt I can ever fully repay you for all you've done, but if you ever need our help, I will gladly do what I can.
Okay. Now we can finally play try it against him.
Who am I to turn
So we'll
down?
do that. Okay, he uses order, and that's it. It ended up as a brawl. Let's try placing this one again here. Place the same right there no matter what. Alright, let's try one there. Finally, okay. So now I can at least to register that he has been beaten. I just need to actually get the card from him, which is the I forget what the hell it's called. This one, the deep eye. God, he is fucking annoying to play against. Due to his stake in my recommended deck. Alright, you know what, let's try with a different deck. This is just pissing me off. That deck seems to work a little bit better, at least. When I actually start this time. That's the Griffin one. That one took me forever to get in the fucking Stone Vigil, or whatever the hell that place is called. Ugh. Give me a fucking PI. That's all I need from you, you fucking asshole. Doing your fucking quest. It said online it was like a 14% chance of getting it. Basically thinking I'll keep playing until it's I guess around 10 past, because that matches up with it being the 3-hour mark. So hopefully I'll get the card before then. What if he does that opener again? I'm gonna do something different and see if what he does. And of course I end up starting this time. Just to be honest, I'm actually fine with just allows me to execute that strategy. Seems to win every single time. Or not, because now it does something different. I'll still win. Come on, give me just the fucking card already, you fucking dipshit. Okay, let's try doing something different. Doesn't help. It just ends up resulting in not being able to win at all. It just becomes a draw. That's another Griffin card. I don't need that one. I need your fucking DI card, you fucking asshole. I hate, like, I'll say this. The concept of Triple Triad, I don't mind. But my god, do I fucking hate the chance system with this. I hate the randomness of getting cards. That is the worst fucking part about this entire, like, game, because it is so fucking RNG based. It's so annoying. Because if I'm not mistaken, his Steam Art card is supposed to be way more common than this one, than the Griffin one. According to this website, ARR Triple Triad, the Griffin card has a 2.38% chance. The D-Buy has a 14.55. Why the fuck have I not gotten that one? But I've gotten, like, what, 3? 3 D-Buys. Or 3 Griffins. Why the fuck do I have 3 Griffins? Why do I have 3 of the card that's supposed to be way rarer? What the fuck? Like, one thing that would be really nice is if they actually just came out and were like, okay, this is the drop chances. Instead of this where it's like, oh yeah, we have no fucking clue. Just have to guess. We have no clue who, like, where, like, who, basically, or how rare certain cards are. We just have to guess. Based on, like, what we see that when, like, based on, like, X amount of fights, challenges or something. Here, I finally got it. Okay, just gonna quickly register that one as obtained. There we go. Okay. I didn't get to do a whole lot of the other quests, because this one, Dominic, fucking asshole, that took like forever. That was a around what, 40, 50-minute long quest, or at least quest line. Oh, that one took forever. Anyway. It's now been like 3 hours. And yeah, I can feel I'm a bit tired. Especially from this quest line, which is just boring as hell. But I need to do it in order to get the Triple Triad match. I still got like over 10 of those quests left. Thankfully most of them are just like one quest, and that's it. Which is better. Don't make it like, hey, do 10 quests in order to get this Triple Triad match, where you need 1 card. Like, just make them available for more people. Or from other sources. Because my god, is this a fucking pain in the ass to deal with. Anyway. I need to find someone to raid. Okay, apparently we just introduced something new. And apparently now pin channels, like up to 3. So they appear at the top of the list, it seems. That's a new thing. Guess I can do that with some of the people that I tend to raid. Let's see here. Who to raid though? yeah. I am thinking that we are gonna raid Yoga? Yoga girl? So let's see here. Next stream is going to be tomorrow. Unless something prevents us from doing that stream, and that is gonna be the third collab stream in the Stardew Valley. One that I'm doing with the Cryptid, Angie, and Jonas. I'm really blanking on names right now. I should know their names. This is so fucking weird. I'm just unsure. Oh yeah, Angie, Jonas, and Cryptid. I was right. But yeah, we are hopefully gonna be doing some more Stardew Valley tomorrow, and yeah, that's basically it. We might be going for a bit longer than usual. Also, we're starting like an hour later than we usually would. That's the reason why we are starting a little bit later, is because it just fits better with some of the others, like dinner time and so on. So I don't know why Angie suggested that. Maybe she has something she needs to do. But we are also considering going a little bit longer than the 3 hours that we have been going or been doing previously. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we end up doing. I have some plans for what I at least want to do during the stream, which I also had for last week, but we didn't end up streaming due to certain reasons that I'm not going to talk about, because I don't feel like I should be the one talking about that. So yeah. And yeah, the next solo stream that I'm going to be doing, so the next Final Fantasy stream is going to be on Friday, and I guess also Saturday, because basically going to be connected. And I honestly don't think I'm going to be like finish all of the Yorha Dark Apocalypse quest line, because that is a fuck ton of quests. So plus also 3 alliance raids, so maybe I'll be able to finish it. Or maybe it's gonna be something that I need to space out over a longer period. I'm not sure yet. So yeah. And oh yeah, I should probably also mention that the reason why I'm not doing another stream like Wednesday or something, Thursday, is simply because I have something Thursday that I need to go to. That I need to basically go to very late. Or not very late, very early in the morning. And because of that, I'm not gonna be streaming on Monday. My brain is mush right now. I'm going to go and do. I'm going to something on Thursday. I need to be pretty early. And because of that, I am not going to stream on Wednesday. Talk slow so I don't fuck up what I'm saying. So I can basically go to bed a bit earlier Wednesday, so I can wake up at a decent time, so I don't end up kind of messing things up, I guess, and being late. I don't want to do that. So yeah. So yeah. that's basically it. So yeah, should be back tomorrow, hopefully at around 7. So an hour later than usual. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream now, so I can, I don't know, relax a little bit before I hit to bed. So yeah. I guess, yeah, I'll just raid Joker, and yeah. Guess until next time, guys, I'll see ya.